Yes, hello and welcome to B&B's Football Happy Hour. I am Bobby, and as always, joined by my man Brian.
What's going on? Glad to be back for episode 40 as we're dwindling down into the games, but we're never short on, I guess, off-season drama has already begun. So we'll touch on a little bit of that tonight.
One great thing about the NFL, there is always something to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's the best time of year. You're down to your final four teams, but then, for 28 other teams, the season's over and they're already looking towards next season and getting ready for – the Ravens are already cutting guys. Teams are finding coaches and whatnot and, trying to get ready for the salary cap and whatever next year, get ready for the draft. So it's kind of you would think the discussion would die down, but there's seems to be more and more to talk about each week, I think.
And you just told me you heard today that the salary cap might not be dipping quite as low as we anticipated, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, our Eagles are pretty much behind the eight ball, I guess, to start this year. I think they're I don't know. Apparently they're
over.
Yeah, they're already over the salary cap because I think it was projected to go down to 175, and I did read an article saying it might sit somewhere in the 180s. So I guess that's going to save us a player or two, I guess. So I know there's a few teams I think that are behind the eight ball. I forget who off the top of my head. I know the Eagles are one of them, but
Saints are always over. Without even looking, I know the Saints are over the cap.
Yeah, I think it's Eagles, Saints, and there's one other team that's pretty bad off for next year. But yeah, if Pittsburgh
maybe. I think they're a little over the cap, but they also have like 19 unrestricted free agents or something crazy. So not only are they over the cap, but they're losing a bunch of folks.
Yeah, and somebody did ask him. I have a younger cousin. He was asking me. I think he called me on the phone. He was asking me who is the highest paid player in the NFL, and I had to look it up. And Big Ben's up there. Big Ben makes like $45 million or something like that as a cap hit. So if I were the Steelers, I'd be kind of maybe sending him off into retirement so I can get that off the books.
It depends on what the dead money would be, because they might still be – a lot of these teams like the Saints, they're always in cap purgatory because they just kick the can down the road and they restructure deals so that, well, we don't owe them this year, but we'll owe them next year, and we'll owe them next year. So they're going to have to pay for it eventually.
Yeah, those guys get paid the big bucks and they always figure it out. But, yeah, it's going to be at some guys are definitely getting cut and going to be making less money than they made last year. So we'll have to keep an eye on it.
So we're going to start with the divisional round breakdown of our games this past weekend. Hit up a little conference championship matchups. Check those out for a minute or two, and then talk about this coaching carousel. And hopefully we'll have time at the end to talk about some possible free agent moves at the quarterback position. So I tallied it up in my head, and in my opinion, there could be 16 NFL teams rocking a new QB next year. We'll hopefully have time to get to all of those.
Yeah, that's 50%, I guess, right?
You got that right, my friend. Half the teams.
There you go.
I'm sure it's not going to play out that way, but I have an argument for at least 16 teams
to have
a new QB. Now, in the first round of the divisional playoffs, the Packers beat the Rams 32-18. Aaron Rodgers was great, as per usual, throwing for just shy of 300 yards, passing 2 touchdowns, and no picks. His counterpart, Jared Goff, honestly wasn't that bad either. He completed 78% of his passes, but it's tough to move the ball when you're only average 6 yards a throw. Aaron Jones led all backs with 99 yards and a score. Devontae Adams did his thing, as he always does. 9 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. And he did not face Jalen Ramsey every play, but on his touchdown he was, and it was a fantastically schemed play by Coach Matt LaFleur to get him open in the end zone. It was an awesome, awesome play call. And Alan Lazard is trying to make a case that he maybe can finally be the number 2 guy in Green Bay with a game-sealing 58-yard touchdown grab on a perfect throw by Mr. Rodgers. None of the LA receivers did very much. I am interested in Van Jefferson next year, rookie wide receiver out of
Florida.
Vanderbilt.
Van Jefferson. Where? I think he's from Florida.
Okay. You know what? That sounds right. With Josh Reynolds is their current number 3 receiver, but he's going to be a free agent. Cam Akers, he was a bright spot for the Rams. He finished the season with 90 yards and a score. The Green Bay was 8 for 12 on third downs and outgained the Rams by 240 yards.
Yeah, this was I mean, this game to me, Packers never really seemed in any kind of trouble. Aaron Rodgers out there smiling and doing his thing. They had that one shot of him, I guess towards the end of the game. They zoomed in on him and he's just like cheesing as he's getting ready to take the snap from the center.
Now,
Um,
not this past week, but besides the Kansas City Chiefs of the last year or two, I've never seen a team so relaxed.
mhm.
I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers a few years ago is famous for saying, RELAX,
Yeah,
relax, when people get fired up.
yeah.
I mean, we talked a few times on the show that he goes out there and he looks like he's not even trying.
Yeah, he looks like half asleep, and he's out there
Yeah,
throwing for
yeah,
300 yards. I mean,
right.
man, man, Aaron Rodgers, he's the man. I mean, I don't know. Every week, I mean, and look, Lazard, I think he dropped. Didn't he drop like a touchdown? He dropped a long pass, right? It would have been a touchdown, but he ended up. I think he caught another touchdown, right? So I guess
It must have
made up
been
for it.
MVS in an Alan Lazard
Yeah,
jersey.
I can't think of who it is, but every week it's one of those guys dropping touchdowns, and Rodgers is still throwing for 300 yards. So, but yeah, I mean, this one, Aaron Donald, he was hurt. Obviously, he only played, I think, 50% of the snaps, so that didn't help the Rams case. And Goff with he had a thumb surgery a couple weeks ago, so I mean, he's obviously not
Yeah, but
100% either. So,
he's not good when he is 100%.
nah, he's not, but at least he has an excuse now. So,
I mean,
um,
I just read today or yesterday that there's a little trouble in the hen house between Jared Goff and Sean McVay. They have some
yeah,
mending to do with their relationship in the offseason.
yeah, I did read that. I saw something about it. It was Goff and McVay need some marriage counseling, is what I read. So that's kind of odd to come out, I guess, a couple days after the loss there. But yeah, Packers look good. The defense played good. I mean, unfortunately, the Rams didn't ride, that dominant defense into this game because Packers still scored 32. And I know, like I said before, Aaron Donald I mean, I feel bad for Aaron Donald. I mean, he gave it his all. He was out there, whenever he could. And then I guess I showed him at the end of the game, and he was all upset and everything. So it sucks to see that because he's the best
Love
defensive
him.
player in the game, and he gave it his all and was out there for his team. But they just fell a little bit short, and I don't know, man. Packers look pretty good. Packers are rolling, and defense looks pretty good. And I read today that this will be the first time, I guess, I guess he's been in a few NFC Championship games. This will be the first one they're going to play at Lambeau Field. So that's kind of
I think he's
an
played in
odd
three of
stat.
them.
Yeah, and they've all been away. So
Right.
I didn't know that until I read that little article the other day. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about. I'm sure we'll touch on
Yeah.
the NFC Championship game, but I don't know. Those Florida teams going into that cold weather might be a little tough for Brady and the boys.
Good luck with that there, Tampa Bay. The nightcap between the Ravens and the Bills was not the shootout I think we all thought it was going to be,
Yeah.
with Buffalo winning just 17-3. And honestly, it was a fairly boring game to watch. I thought there was a chance each team would have 20 points themselves by halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen's stats weren't all that impressive, only 200 yards and a touchdown. He did enough to win the game, though. He also had Stephon Diggs at his disposal whenever Buffalo needed to make a play. That dude is ridiculous. He had over 100. He has over 100 yards in 5 of his last 6 games, including the playoffs, obviously. Now, as per usual, the Bills had 0 running game. I mean, can you imagine
They
what
don't
this
even try.
offense? That's what I'm saying. Can
They
you
don't try.
imagine what this offense would be like if the opposing defense had to worry about stopping the ground game too?
Yeah.
I don't know what their salary cap space looks like, but I really hope they either sign a big time free agent running back if they can make that happen, or draft a guy kind of early because, and I know, listen, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss are both young. Zach Moss is a rookie this year, but I didn't see enough out of either one of them to think that they're going to be any type of game changer. So if they could really get one in there, I don't know what defenses would do. Now, as for Baltimore, if opposing teams can stop Lamar Jackson from running and force him to throw the ball, the Ravens aren't going to win many games. Last week, he rushed like 16 times for 1,000,000 yards. But this week, 9 carries and only 34 yards on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar also only completed 14 passes before going down in the fourth quarter with a concussion. And after throwing a pick six that was returned 101 yards. I mean, the Ravens were down in the red zone, obviously, and the score was 10-3. Lamar Jackson throws that pick six, and that was all she wrote, my friend. The lone bright spot for Baltimore, oddly enough, was Marquise Brown corralling four balls for 87 yards. And after a slow 3/4 of the season, he's played better as of late. Now, he's not a wide receiver one at the NFL level, but he can definitely help an offense by stretching the field. And did you know the Ravens had 5 fumbles in the game and didn't lose any of them?
I mean, I didn't know it was
That's hard to do.
Yeah, I didn't know it was 5. I know I saw a few. I saw at least 3, but yeah, I didn't know
They were credited with
weird.
5 fumbles and didn't lose any of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is another, like you said. I mean, I thought this game was going to be a little bit of a high-scoring shootout, but
I hope you bet the under.
yeah, this is 3-3 at halftime, so this was a barn burner, offensive barn burner here. But man, like you said, I mean, the Bills' defense looked good, and Lamar, like you said, I mean, they had him bottled up in the running game. He's had his struggles passing the whole year. Nothing changed this game.
And honestly, the touchdown that the Bills had to be miscommunication on the defense, because they had 3 wide receivers out to the left, but only 2 defensive backs out there. So Stephon Diggs, he caught a screen pass and just stepped in 3 yards for an easy score because the Ravens didn't have enough guys.
Yeah, man, it was a weird game all around a little bit too. I mean, I know it was pretty windy. Even Justin Tucker missed a couple field goals, which he never. I don't know. They were throwing up stats, and I don't think he's missed a kick in the playoffs or in a while. So
has he ever missed 2 in one game?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was something crazy. I mean,
I
don't think he has. I mean, I think they threw the stat out there before the first field goal that he's never missed an extra point or a field goal in the playoffs or something like that. And
until he
missed 2 in a row. Yeah. So I guess that stat's out of the window, but that was a complete jinx. But I mean, like you said, I mean, Josh Allen played good enough to win. I mean, with that pick six, that kind of sealed the deal. And they didn't really start running the ball until they were up 17-3. After that pick six is when they kind of started to try to run the ball. I mean, I think at halftime, I mean, what did they have? 2 or 3 runs, I think, or not even. It was, I don't know. They didn't have many designed run plays. I think. I think
Buffalo. I think I read they had 1 called rush at halftime.
Yeah, they had 2 because Allen he scrambled on 1 or 2 plays or something like that.
Right, but that wasn't a called rush.
Yeah, it's not a called run.
They had 1 run play call, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I read.
And they were just talking about it they were just. I mean, the announcers were just like, "Oh yeah, the Bills. I mean, they're just going to pass every play," and they kept showing Brian Daboll up into the box up there, and he's just calling pass after pass after pass. But hey, I mean, I guess that's what they do.
You're playing the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, it worked this week, but man, I don't know if Allen plays like he did this week against a healthy Chiefs team. I don't know if they're going to win that game because I don't think I don't know. He played good enough to win this one, but I mean, he's not going to beat a team like the Chiefs if they're healthy. But he still got the W, and I'm happy for the Bills. I mean, that fan base is pretty wild, and it did seem kind of loud. It was a good game to watch because they had, I guess, 7,000 fans there, but it sounded like they had a few more than that. So yeah, that was good to hear that little crowd noise, and I know that fan base is pretty wild up there. So.
Do you think the Chiefs' defense is as good as the Ravens' defense? Because I don't think they're going to give Allen as much fits as the
yeah, probably not. But
Ravens D did.
Yeah, but they're going to be playing away, so it's. And I know Kansas City's allowed that. They have some fans in that stadium too. So I don't know. It'll be tough, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the Ravens D is it's definitely better than the Chiefs D. But
so the Ravens pass D was 6th in yards given up, and the Chiefs were 14th.
Yeah, so they're a little better, but I don't know. Chiefs have they have other issues, so we'll touch on that coming up. But yeah, I'm happy for the Bills. I know we were both pretty high on the Bills pre-year, preseason. Our preseason episodes, we were saying that they would make it into the playoffs. I don't know if any of us predicted to get them to go to the AFC Championship game, but I know we had them at least playing in the divisional round, and first time since 1993, I think they're going to play in the AFC Championship game. So that's a pretty long wait. So I'm happy for the Bills fans, and our guy Fred. We might have to try to get him on if they make the Super Bowl.
Oh, we have to.
We'll have to try to get him back on. He was a good guest, so we might have to reach out to him and see if he can come back on.
I agree. All right. Well, Sunday's first game brought us a nice matchup between the Chiefs and the Browns that finished with a Chiefs win 22-17. The biggest outcome of the game, though, is whether or not Mr. Patrick Mahomes returns from the concussion slash maybe concussion slash possible foot injury. No one really knows here that he suffered during the game. Now, that being said, Chad Henne made some big plays for KC, eventually sealing the win and a trip to the AFC Conference Championship game. Mahomes played well, but Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce carried them on their backs, each of them having 8 catches. Hill had 110 yards, while Kelce had 109 and a touchdown. Mahomes ran in the other score that they had. Now, for the Browns, no one really lit up the stat sheet. Mayfield wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. Nick Chubb averaged over 5 yards a carry, but he didn't have too many carries. He only had 69 yards on the ground. Rashard Higgins, 5 for 88, the best receiver on the field for the Browns in this one, but lost a back-breaking fumble in the red zone that really killed some momentum the Browns had.
Now, on that play, what do you think about that play? I thought it was a targeting. Look, I love some football, but I mean, on a play like that, if that play was on the 50-yard line, you think they call a helmet-to-helmet personal foul on that hit? I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people were upset about it, but that dude. And I mean, look, I'm not a Browns fan, but I mean, I did kind of want to see the underdog win this game. But I mean, on a play like that, I mean, that was right before halftime, right? So that would have been a huge score for the Browns there, obviously. I mean, that would have been huge. And then the whole rule in itself is kind of weird, where the ball rolls out of bounds and the other team gets it and whatnot. I don't know. I don't really love that rule, but I mean, it is what it is. But
I didn't have a chance to read it, but I saw an article that was titled "The Worst Rule in Sports," and it was about that exact play.
Yeah, I don't know how they could change it, but I mean, what could you do? I guess if you fumbled it I don't know, man. What could they do? Like if you fumbled it out of bounds, you basically just lose it down. You know what I'm saying? You just start back from where you were. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, you just don't get any yards on that play. It's kind of just a wasted play.
I think so.
Yeah, like if you're on the 40-yard line and you run it like that and you run it down to the 1-yard line and he fumbles it out of bounds, if it was second down, now it's third down and you're back at the 40-yard line, but you keep the ball. So I don't know. Maybe they could – I don't know.
It's just such terrible, terrible luck for where they are on the field. I mean, like you said, if it was on the 50-yard line, it's not that big a deal. But man,
on a game-changing play like that. And look, the defensive player, that's pretty much all he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing that he could have did to stop that play. Stop Higgins from scoring. But to me, I mean, it was just kind of like he dove in there with his helmet and hit him right on that ear hole, and then he fumbled. But I don't know. It was a tough play, but it is what it is. They still had a chance to win late in the game, so that play didn't take them out of the game. So can't blame it on one play. So, but man, that would have changed the momentum, I guess, for the Browns for sure going into halftime. But
what's your take on the whole secret Mahomes injury?
Well, man, watching this game. I mean, Andy Reid's probably a little bit mad at himself for that play call. You know what I'm saying? That speed option right there on that third down that he put Mahomes in that situation. But I mean, Mahomes he was injured this whole game. You know what I'm saying? Like he had I guess he had like some kind of toe injury, or I don't know. He was limping around for half the game before that play anyway. And to me, I don't think it's really a concussion. I mean, I never saw any kind of forcible hit to the head. I think who was it? Mac Wilson, I think, had his arm around his neck. I think he might have almost did a little UFC and like choked him unconscious a little bit. So then when he came up, I think he hit that artery right there on your neck where it puts you out, like if you're in UFC.
So he hit him with the Brutus the Barber Beefcake chokehold from 1987.
Because look, I mean, he had the arm around the neck and they kind of spun around and he held it on there for a little while. I mean, I never seen any kind of his helmet didn't go straight into the ground, so it's kind of hard for me to call it a concussion. I think Andy Reid's already coming out and saying, it's some kind of like neck nerve thing. It's not even a concussion. So he's already putting his 2 cents in there about him getting past his protocol. So,
I mean, I thought Schefter said he was in the protocol, but
he is. But I think they're doing everything they can to not try to call it a concussion. But I mean, I guess the NFL
Well, they also did say that they're pretty sure Mahomes is going to practice tomorrow. So tomorrow
Yeah.
will be very telling as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, Chad Henne comes in there, and I mean that one pick that he threw was pretty horrendous. But other than that, I mean that third down, that 3rd and 14 run where he pretty much sacrificed himself
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
head first dive.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just like, I've been waiting for this for years. I don't care if he was like, I don't care if I die. You know what I'm saying? I'm diving head first, and I don't care if I break my neck or both my legs. I'm diving. And to me, that looked like a first down anyway. Like, I don't know how that wasn't a first down. I mean, he looked
Right.
like he
I
was
agree.
like, when he hit the ground and rolled, he was like 3 yards past the marker, and then they mark it short. And then our boy Andy Reid, man, he never fails to, I don't know, man, just that 4th and 1 call with the backup quarterback. I mean, it was a perfect play. Look, I mean, that was probably one of the easiest throws Chad Henne's ever had in his career with the Tyreek Hill. But man, on 4th down, I don't know. I guess he didn't want to
It
give the
takes some
ball back to
guts.
Big. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Andy Reid, he's a hell of a coach, and that was a big time call. Ended the game, and Browns go home, and I don't think the Browns fans should be too disappointed. I mean, it was a good year. They fell a couple points short to the
Reigning champs. Yeah.
defending Super Bowl champs. So it's not a terrible year. They can build off of that year. Stefanski was a good hire. He looks like he's a good coach. Mayfield played better than he did the previous year. So I
And
think to
we're
me it
so
was a good win. It was a
I'm
good
assuming
year.
I'm assuming you feel if Mahomes plays, we got a ball game. If Henny plays, Bills by a touchdown or more.
Yeah, I don't know. If Mahomes plays,
Okay, let's say if Henny starts,
mm-hmm,
if I gave you Bills at 7.5 point favorites.
I'd probably still take the Chiefs
Mm, to cover.
to cover. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they
Okay.
would win, but Chiefs don't like to
That,
cover. Chiefs don't like to cover. I think they're what did I read? They're 1-8 in their last 9 playoff games against the spread. So I don't know, but that's a tough one. I don't know. Henny, and like you said, the running game's kind of, they don't got CEHs and out there. So I don't know. To rely on Chad Henne for a whole game might
and
be hard
Daryl
to,
Williams.
yeah, it might be hard to do, but I don't know. Yeah, that'd be a tough. But I think the NFL will do whatever they can. I think the NFL,
Oh yeah.
they would postpone this game till Tuesday so Patrick Mahomes can play.
Fake COVID protocol.
Yeah, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't practice tomorrow, all of a sudden there's going to be like an outburst of the
Yeah.
of
Some guy
COVID.
we never some guy we never heard of from the practice squad has it. So
Yeah, and
they
they're going to be
promote.
like, this game's going to have to get pushed back to Wednesday. So, give
Right.
Patrick a few extra days. If the NFL is a business, like they always say, Chad Henne is a good story, but him starting in the AFC Championship is probably bad for business. So nobody wants to see it. So he had his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, and the infamous dive. All right, so
Sacrifice.
finally, on our last game of the weekend, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ended the New Orleans Saints season winning 30-20 and quite possibly put an end to the career of one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, Mr. Drew Brees. Unfortunately, if Brees hangs him up, it will be on the coattails of a terrible game. He only threw for 134 yards and 3 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating of 38. Keep in mind, the highest you can go is 158.3, and he had a 38. Now, Traquan Smith, he stuffed the stat sheet with 3 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns, one by Brees and one by Jameis Winston. With the offensive struggles they were having, I am not sure why Alvin Kamara only had 6 targets. If I'm Sean Payton and I can see that Brees is having a rough day, I would have schemed all kinds of ways to get the ball to Kamara, who was surprisingly effective against one of the best run defenses in the league. I think he had 80-some rushing yards. Tom Brady, he wasn't great either. I mean, he's been pretty great as of late, but he didn't turn the ball over. He had 2 passing touchdowns, just under 200 yards in the air. But he did add a rushing touchdown for those still playing fantasy. No receiver for Tampa had more than 50 yards receiving. And notice I haven't mentioned Michael Thomas's name. That's because he had 0 catches on 4 targets. As far as team stats go, they're basically identical. If you look all the way down, every offensive stat they had was, within reason, pretty similar. but the Saints had 4 turnovers, and that's just not – you're not going to win playoff football with 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty pumped. I know we talked about this last week for this game, and it was a good game. But like you said, if this was Breeze's last game, I definitely didn't want to see him go out like that because, I mean, to have that as your final game is pretty much, that's a pretty ugly way to end such a prolific career. You know what I'm saying? To go out like that. And, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, is he done, or is he just not 100%? I mean, is it the rib injury? Is he gonna take a couple months off and heal and be like, I can still play, you know what I'm saying, and come back? And
besides winning an MVP, which he's probably deserved in his career anyway, well, I mean, what does he have to prove? He's won a Super Bowl. He turned one of the prolifically terrible franchises in all of sports, the New Orleans Aints. He turned them into Super Bowl champs, and he is an absolute icon in New Orleans. He'll never pay for a steak dinner for the rest of his life. If you read some of these quotes from people from New Orleans, like Tyrann Mathieu and stuff, he is just short of a god down there for everything he's done for the people of New Orleans and the community and everything. So I don't know. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. He's got nothing left to prove, but when you're a competitor like Breeze is, that itch sometimes is it can't be scratched unless you're out there on a field. So we'll see what he decides.
Yeah, I mean, man, I hope he comes back. I don't know. I mean, like you said, he really doesn't have anything to prove, but it just stinks to see him go out that way. You know what I'm saying? And
football is better with Drew Brees in it for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I think he could probably play one more year. I don't know, but there's really is nothing to prove, I guess, at this point. But
we also keep saying that about Frank Gore, but that guy refuses to die.
Yeah, Drew Brees. I mean, dude. I mean, look, him running off the field, and he looks back, and that whole thing. He looked back one last time, and it's almost brings a damn tear to your eye. And I'm not even a Saints fan, so I can imagine what they're thinking about. Going from Drew Brees, and then we're like, damn, are we going to have Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, or are we going to bring in somebody else? But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He had a great career. But
unless you're the San Francisco 49ers, that's what happens because they lost Joe Montana, Hall of Famer, and in comes Steve Young, future Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. So I think I can't imagine that's happened too many times in history.
Yeah, that's tough. But, yeah, I mean, the Bucs did enough. Defense played pretty good. The Michael Thomas with no catches was pretty baffling to me. I thought he would have a pretty big game, but he obviously didn't do much. And I think there's some report out there now saying he played injured and he's going to have some kind of off-season surgeries or something like that. And
what we always say.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's really true, I guess I don't know, tip my hat to him. I guess we're trying to stick it out, but didn't really help his team, I guess.
Someone is either going to get a steal in fantasy drafts next year, or Thomas is not going to, be much at all because there's no way is he getting drafted in the first 2 rounds? He went from this past season. People were talking about possibly taking him with a number 1 overall pick, kind of like people did with Antonio Brown a few years ago when he played for Pittsburgh. And he's 3rd round, maybe. For Michael Thomas, it's going to be a drop of epic.
Yeah, and to me, I'm definitely not taking him in the first 2 or 3 rounds. And it all depends on the quarterback too. If you don't have Drew Brees, if you're going to roll out Taysom Hill, I'm not picking Michael Thomas. He might have a good year, but I'm not betting on him in those early rounds. But
there's no way I'm drafting him more than a wide receiver 2.
Yeah. And to me, Tampa Bay played pretty good. That secondary played pretty lights out this game. So, which only means Devontae Adams is probably going to have 200 yards this week. People are going to talk about, Devontae Adams might get shut down this week. Tampa Bay shut down Michael Thomas. And
I could really see Aaron Rodgers really trying to make a point while he's playing his buddy Tom Brady over there on that opposite sideline and just put the pedal down and smash the Buccaneers just because.
Another good game. Rodgers and Brady. That's a hell of a game too. So, two Hall of Famers. So you know, back-to-back games where you're getting Brady Breeze and then Brady Rogers, or you could have had Brady, or you could have had Rogers and Breeze. So either way, it would have been pretty awesome to see. So it'll be a good game. Brady played good enough to get that W, and I think he's
Right.
14-2 now in the divisional round. So he's played a full year's worth of games just in the divisional round in his career. So it's pretty absurd.
Yeah, I saw a stat that Tom Brady has more playoff wins than all but like 3 franchises, and one of those franchises is the New England Patriots.
Yeah,
It's like the
it's unreal.
Patriots, the Steelers, and maybe one other team
Mm-hmm.
has more playoff wins than Brady, and
Yeah, and there was something about Buffalo too.
incredible.
It was like Josh Allen has 17 wins or something like that in Buffalo. And that was like the only person that has more is like Tom Brady over the last like, couple of years. I don't know. This is unreal. He just keeps winning. We'll see.
I saw another one because we brought this up last week about how he keeps setting records for the oldest person to ever do anything with a football.
Yeah.
But he has the top 5 passing days by a player over 40 are all him.
Yeah, he's just going to keep setting that record until he's
insane.
Can't do it anymore. But I think Antonio Brown, he got hurt during this game, so that I guess that's not good. You know,
he might be okay though. He's going to try to play.
Yeah, and Godwin didn't do a whole lot. Cameron Brate caught a lot of passes. I don't know. It seems like
Mike Evans caught 1 ball for 3 yards. That was a touchdown. Wasn't that?
I'm saying I'm waiting for either him or Gronkowski's going to have a huge game this week because I don't know. They've been kind of sleeping on. I don't know. The Green Bay might come sleeping on either Evans or Gronk, and one of them's going to have a big game. I think.
I mean, what if I told you before this game started that that Mike Evans and Michael Thomas were going to combine for 1 catch for 3 yards? How much money would you bet that would not happen?
A lot, probably. Definitely a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking paychecks.
And I would have been like, you know, if you're going to tell me that, then I would have said this game's going to be like, you know, the score's going to be 10-6 or something like that.
Right.
So
You're right.
I don't know. It was an okay game, but I just hate to see Breeze go out kind of that way. And I think I was listening to ESPN today. I think they said, you know, it was a pretty rough way to go out, you know, with his stats and, you know, that the game that he had. And I think they said the only thing they can compare to, I think Dan Marino lost like 63-7, I think, in his last game or something like that, or something like that. They were saying, so they were like, you know, it kind of compares to that, but yeah, it's just tough. He's a great guy, and I don't know. I don't want to be selfish and say, you know, he should come back if he's hurt. You know, he's 41 or 42 years old, so you know, just hang it up. You don't have anything to prove, but I don't know if he feels like he can do it again. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch, so I'd be happy to see it next year.
All right. So Sunday, 3:05, Tampa Bay at Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers right now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to do. I mean, the line's 3.5, Green Bay. Kind of like the over. The over's 50.5. I mean, I would think they could.
It depends on the weather too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They always the last like 3 weeks they've been like, oh, it's going to snow. And then you watch the game and I'm like, where's the snow?
Well, it's Green Bay. It's a possibility of snow from like October 1st until April 1st.
Yeah, man, it's going to be tough. But like you said, I think just the way the Packers are playing right now, it's hard to bet against them. But it's also hard to bet against Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? He just finds ways to win. And I don't know if he can pull it off. If he does pull this one off, I mean, it'll be pretty big. But I think the Packers will probably win a close one. I mean, I'm going to look for like a 27-24 maybe win for the Packers, somewhere close, I think.
Now, I don't know. Was it Carlton Banks? Is that who it was that was covering or covering Michael Thomas? Wasn't that his name?
I think so, yeah. Something like that. Yeah, I think it is.
So he's not going to shut down Devontae Adams. It's not going to happen. And, you know, Tampa Bay's got a good run defense. Green Bay's got Aaron Jones. So that's good. And Aaron Jones is a home run hitter. So,
yeah,
you know, he can break free at any time. But on the opposite side of the ball, Green Bay's got Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the league. So whoever they put him on, Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, I don't expect much from them. And then Green Bay's got a nice pass rush. They got those Smith brothers. Was it Preston Smith and Ladarius Smith? Or those two. I don't know, man. I think Green Bay's going to win this by more than More, if it's give me 5.5, I'll take.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'll
That's
take Green
tough.
Bay.
And this is a rematch. I mean, this is a week 6. Tampa Bay won. Remember that game, 38-10, against the
This isn't.
Packers.
Yeah, but this isn't week 6. It's
It's not week 6, but
Aaron Rodgers he's going to be fired up for this one, I think.
yeah, especially since they got blown out by 4 touchdowns on that. I think it was the Sunday Night Football game, right? He probably had his worst game, I think, of the year. He had those, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, but
Why isn't this game the night game?
yeah, it should be. I don't know. Maybe weather. I don't know. Maybe if it's
Because Buffalo KC if Mahomes plays, I'm taking KC for sure. And I'm not saying they're going to smash Buffalo, but I'm much more confident in them winning. And if Mahomes doesn't play, I'm taking Buffalo for sure.
yeah, that's going to be tough. I don't know, man. I think this game's going to be close. Packers, Bucks. I said 27-24. I guess that means my money would be on Tampa Bay, I guess, to cover with the 3.5. That's always tough to do too. But I don't know. It'll be a good game, I think. You would think it'd be a good game, but you never know. I'm not sold on – man, Bruce Arians too. He does some dumb stuff. I don't know. I forget. I was watching this game, and I remember I called my cousin called me, and I forget what he did, man. It was just like – or what did he do? It was like on the one – when was it? It was like 3rd and 1. And Brady dropped back through like a 40-yard fade, and then 4th and 1 he punts. Like, man, if you're going to throw a 40-yard pass on 3rd and 1, you probably should just, I don't know. You would think you'd go for it on 4th and 1 because I don't know. And he wears his damn thing across his chest. I don't know that I'm pretty sure you're supposed to like buckle that around like a belt, but he kind of wears it across his chest. Looks like he's on Star Wars or something like that. I don't know.
So you're saying Green Bay because of Bruce Arians' lack of style?
Yeah, just because of Bruce Arians. He'll screw something up, and then Brady will scream at him or something like that, and that'll be the end of the year for the Bucks.
All right, now I know we hit on a lot of the KC stuff against, but I mean we really talked about KC Buffalo already, kind of previously. Like I said, if Mahomes plays, I'm taking KC. I don't know what the spread is.
I think it's three right now, which means nothing. I mean, because
right. Home teams get 3 points.
Yeah, they're just giving KC that 3 just because they're home. And then I think if Mahomes is a definite, it'll probably go up to – I could see 5.5 or maybe 6. I don't know. I would think so. At least another field goal or so. But, yeah, I mean, if Henny plays, that Buffalo definitely has a shot.
Look, Buffalo has a shot regardless.
Yeah.
I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes, just like I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Mahomes, I mean, he's not only is it the concussion, it's the foot and everything else. So, I don't know. It's one of them things like you're just going to have to see it. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to have to you're just going to have to watch, because nobody's going to report on his foot. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to be about, can he play? Does he have a concussion or did he pass the protocol? Nobody's going to give you any good footage of him practicing, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of, running with a little bit of a limp or whatever. So that's going to be tough, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll take KC. Our boy Andy Reid will find a way to win. He'll come up with some crazy plays and get Tyreek Hill and Kelsey the ball, no matter who's at quarterback, and I think they'll win.
He's one of the best.
They'll win a close one. And our boy Andy Reid, I think he's the only – what is he, the only coach – or he's coached the only 2 teams that have hosted 3 straight championship games. The Eagles from 02 to 04, and then the Chiefs from 18 to 20 or whatever, this, I think 18, 19 and this year. So, yeah, great coach. Kind of mad we ran him out of town at this point.
Well, it was stagnant, but
yeah.
All right. So speaking of coaches, we had, 7 openings: the Jets, the Jaguars, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Texans, the Lions, and the Eagles. So a few of these spots have been filled. The Jets, Robert, is it Saleh?
I think it's Saleh, maybe. I don't know.
Saleh?
Okay. Saleh, I think they say.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
He was the defense coordinator in San Francisco past few years. And San Francisco's defense was 5th in yards given up, 4th in stopping the pass, 7th in stopping the rush. The Jets, they gave up the 26th most points and the 24th most yards. So he's going to come in and hopefully he can help turn that defense around and be smart enough to get someone to help with that offense. Because the Jets offense, they scored the least amount of points in the league and the least amount of yards gained in the league. I mean, they were the absolute worst. They do have a lot of cap space though. So that's going to be great for him to try to bolster up both sides of the ball. And a high draft pick. Were they picking second overall, right?
I think, yeah, yep, they got a second
So,
pick. What are they going to do with that? Yeah.
who knows? But at least he's got some things, some positives working there. And they have 2 first-round picks in that Jamal Adams trade.
I would trade the second pick for Deshaun Watson and then use that other first-round pick to draft a defensive player.
Well, if you want Deshaun Watson, you're probably going to have to part with both of those picks and
Yeah.
Sam Darnold.
Well, yeah, you can trade Darnold, the second pick, and then maybe give him another pick next year or, in a couple of years. You can try to keep that second first-round pick this year, at least so you can get a player. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, Saleh, everybody says he's a motivator and he's a good players coach. And if you
strong
watch
personality, I like those. I like a strong personality in the locker room.
Yeah, he's a good. They'll definitely have a better winning. He'll try to instill a winning attitude for sure, and I think that defense will play better. But there's just a lot of questions with the offense and whatnot. And I think I read he's going to take Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike LaFleur, coaches on the 49ers, and he's going to be the offensive coordinator. So we'll see if he has the mind like his brother. Definitely doesn't have Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, so.
Well, if that happens and he's coming from San Fran with Kyle Shanahan, then whoever the Jets end up getting at running back, whether it be a free agent signing or a draft pick, but you better watch out for that running back because the Niners, they know how to run the football. Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan, it runs in their family. So if you're learning from a guy like that,
yeah,
establishing the run, especially when you're playing good, if Saleh can have them, play decent defense, that would be good for the Jets.
Yeah, overall it was a good hire. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't know. I look at it like this: is it an upgrade from Adam Gase? Probably. I mean, Adam Gase kind of just wasn't good as a head coach and didn't really give. I don't know. Just was kind of just there. I mean, even when the reporters would talk to him, he wouldn't just give him anything. I don't know. Saleh might be a better motivator, better leader. So if anything, I don't know, maybe in a few years he might turn it around. We'll see if he can get some good coordinators with him.
Saw that Pete Carroll and the Seahawks are thinking about interviewing, or maybe they did interview Adam Gase for their offensive coordinator position. Why would you want the guy who just coached the league's worst offense to come in and be your offensive coordinator, especially since he just traded you Jamal Adams, who absolutely despises him? Yeah, why would you want him in your locker room?
Yeah, I'm sure.
If Pete Carroll does this, Pete Carroll has solidified himself as an idiot.
They also said they're interviewing our boy Peterson, offensive coordinator.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but Pete Carroll's been on the record saying they need to run the ball more, and Peterson probably throws the ball more than anybody in the NFL. So I mean, I don't see that working.
Not more than Brian Daboll.
Yeah, not more than Brian Daboll, but right behind him. But I don't know, Peterson and the Pete Carroll thing. I don't think that'll work more than 1 year. I can't see with all the reports about Peterson, and he kind of seems like, I don't know, he might have a little bit of a power issue, struggle thing. Doesn't like, I don't know, puts guys around him that'll just tell him yes. You know what I'm saying? And Pete Carroll, I don't know. I don't see that working, but they haven't made any moves yet, so we'll see what happens.
Next up, the Jaguars, which both of us agreed was the most alluring and attractive head coaching opening. Urban Meyer, they hired him last week. Their offense was bottom 3 in most categories. They were battling the Jets as the worst offense in football, and their defense was equally terrible, giving up the second most yards, total yards. I know that Trent Baalke, he was a former GM for the Niners and was their director of player personnel. I think they just promoted him today, actually, to be their new GM. But I'm sure Urban Meyer has a lot to say. And it seems like Meyer, everyone was saying he was going to bring up a lot of college coaches. But I think he's taking a smart route, and he's going to try to surround himself with guys who have been around the league, since Urban Meyer has never in any way, shape, or form coached NFL football.
Yeah.
He's surrounding himself with former, NFL coaches and NFL GMs and things like that, which is a good move on his part.
Smart
Because
move.
the knowledge he lacks about coaching in the NFL, those guys, you put them in this office, they can help him out. So I do appreciate that gesture on his part.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that was my first point. I'm interested to see what staff that he puts on this Jaguars team. I mean, look, the guy won in college. I mean, I think he's won 85% of his games in college over 18 years.
Wow.
That is college, but I mean that's a hell of a winning percentage. And like we talked about it last week. I mean, is his style of coaching going to translate to the NFL? I guess we'll find out. And I don't know. I guess that staff. I mean, like you said, he's going to need some experience because in college, what I'm saying, they don't deal with contracts and salary caps and I don't know, just some other business type stuff that he's going to have to put his 2 cents in about. And yeah, it'd be good to have some other coaches to help him out in that way. And Urban Meyer, I don't know, man. He's a good coach. I don't know, good college coach for sure, but we'll see what he does. I mean, he got the number 1 pick. He got $100 million. We'll see what he can do. I don't know. Do you think do you think there's any way that he wouldn't take Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 pick?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is got to be the best quarterback prospect coming out since Andrew Luck.
Because I know they had said that he had a lot of say in the Justin Fields transferring from Georgia to Ohio State. But I mean, if you're not going to take Fields 1, you could obviously trade back and get him, I guess, if you were going to do that. But
you don't need it because the Jaguars, they also have 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't have it's not like they need extra draft capital to build on. They have talent on their roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So
yeah, he'll take Trevor Lawrence, but
yeah, you have to.
It's out there. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully he can stay healthy because when things start going bad, his health seems to decline quite quickly. Right. So hopefully Urban can stay healthy and stay clear of COVID out down there in Florida. So wear your mask, Urban.
So Joe Cullen was a name that came up as a defensive coordinator. He's been D-line coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So there's an NFL coach. And then Scott Linehan has been talked about. He could be the next offensive coordinator. And he has coached with the Lions, Vikings, Cowboys, and Dolphins. So he was even the Rams head coach for a couple of years from 2006 to 2008. So that would be a great – now, granted, he didn't do anything with the Rams. I think his record was like 11-25 during that time, but he's been an NFL head coach. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one of our favorite head coaching candidates that I think we both would have enjoyed coming to Philly was the Falcons hiring Arthur Smith. Mm-hmm. Their offense, obviously one of the best passing teams in the league. But if Arthur Smith could come in and fix the run and get Matt Ryan to use play action like he did with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee, this could be a quick turnaround. Now, the defense is terrible. If you look at their rankings, they were 19th in points. They were down the bottom in yards, but I mean, they were historic. They gave up historic late game collapses numerous times throughout the year. We've talked many times on the show. I mean, there were 3, 4, 5 games when there's no way that they could lose. And sure enough, they found a way to do that. So if he can be smart and hire a great defensive coordinator, I have a lot of faith in him being able to get Matt Ryan and that offense locked and loaded and rolling in no time.
Yeah, I know we spoke about our boy Arthur Smith here. He's seems like a good young offensive-minded coach. And with those weapons in Atlanta, I think it will not take as long as most people think. But to me, I mean, look, I wanted him to come to the Eagles because I think if there was any coach out there that could fix Carson Wentz, it would probably be Arthur Smith because, I mean, he took Tannehill, in the past 2 seasons? I think Tannehill's first in the league in yards per attempt, third in touchdowns, and third in passer rating over the past 2 years. So, I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with Derrick Henry rushing for like 3,500 yards over the past 2 years. But The Falcons can get a solid running back, man. I think they'll definitely be a team to beat this year. I mean, next year. So I think they have the 4th pick, but man, I could see them trading that pick and moving down a little bit, maybe into the teens and taking like a Najee Harris from Alabama or somebody like that and throwing him in there and maybe getting another couple picks out of trading that number 4 pick. So that'd be a good move for them. I don't know.
They might not even need to take him that early because running backs,
yeah, that's what I mean.
They don't go that early, so they might even be able to get him if they have that high 2nd round pick. Maybe trade up at the end of the 1st round so they could get that team 5th year team option on his contract.
But I think
defensive help bad.
I think it helps Matt Ryan. I mean, I think obviously over the past 2 years he's been. I mean, the stats are pretty decent, but I think he's led the NFL in completions. I think I read the last 2 seasons, Matt Ryan. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it might prolong his career a season or 2. I think with the Falcons because I don't know, man. It's tough with that 4th pick. I don't know if there's anybody. Is there anybody? I don't know if there's anybody worth taking defensively at number 4. I mean, I know there's some, decent edge rush guys, but there's nobody out there that's setting the world on fire. So I don't know what they would do with that 4th pick.
Does Micah Parsons excite you at 4 overall? It's a little high for me, but
yeah, not at 4. Maybe at I know he's probably a top 10 pick. I don't know. Maybe at 9 or 10, I would take Parsons, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess that would be a good pick, but I don't know about at 4. We'll see.
All right, I'm just looking up some Ryan Tannehill stats for us.
Yeah, I mean he's turned him around over these past 2 years. So go ahead.
So in Miami, his quarterback rating was 76, 81, 92, 88, 93, 92. His last 2 seasons in Tennessee, 117, best in the NFL, and 106 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a marked improvement there from with the help of Mr. Arthur Smith. So,
and I also read the Titans ranked top 4 in running play percentage each of the past 2 years. I mean, obviously that has a lot to do with Derrick Henry, but
sure.
The Falcons were dead last in 2019 and 25th this year. So I think our boy Arthur might be looking for his next stud running back. I don't know if Todd Gurley and Brian Hill are going to excite him too much. So
Gurley's a free agent anyway. So
yeah, I don't know if they're bringing him back. So
doubtful. We'll probably get to the free agent running backs next show.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
But so Chargers, when everyone thought that the ball that we've been talking about all show from the Bills was going to go in and take their head coaching spot. No. Brandon Staley, the defensive coordinator last year for the Rams, his first year being a defensive coordinator. Now, granted, they had one of the best defenses in the league. They were first in a few categories. Previously, he was the outside linebackers coach in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a lot of experience here running the show. But now he does step in with a great offense. The Chargers were top half of the league in most of the offensive categories. You got Justin Herbert, who we absolutely love, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. So you got some weapons there on offense. But I don't know. He's going to have to hire a great offensive coordinator to keep building with what Herbert's been doing so that they don't take any steps back with him. But I don't know. We'll see.
It's the one thing we talked about that we didn't want them to do. You know what I'm saying? Hire Jason Garrett and then hire a defensive coach with limited experience. I mean, dude, I was drooling about the Dayball Justin Herbert combo. I mean, if Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball every play, I mean, that would have been awesome next year. I mean, geez Louise, that would have been great. And it seems kind of weird. Like he seemed kind of blindsided by it too. From what you read, he thought he was locked in on that job, and then all of a sudden they hire Brandon Staley, defensive coordinator.
I didn't really take the interviews he was getting. I didn't even really take them seriously.
No, I know. Like the Eagles were going to interview him, and a few teams did, and
well, the Eagles have interviewed everyone. I'm waiting on my call.
That's true. If you've ever played football at any level, you keep your phone. If a phone number calls from a 215 area code, it's probably Jeffrey Lurie. So pick up the phone. You'll probably get an interview, but
I'll take.
Man, yeah, this guy. I don't know. I mean, look, the Rams defense was good this year, but Chargers don't have Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on their side. Good move for Staley, though. I mean, look, all he does is have to switch locker rooms, right? So he goes from
Same field, everything.
Go from the Rams locker room. He doesn't have to move. I mean, he just stays in his house. He goes from defensive coordinator to head coach, and great move for him. I'm sure he's thrilled about it. But
oh yeah,
I think I read like less than 10 years ago, this guy was coaching at Hutchinson Community College as an associate head coach and defensive coordinator. So that's quite a 10-year journey there to NFL head coach with Justin Herbert. But man, I would have just loved to see them hire Daboll or just an offensive-minded coach like Arthur Smith or I don't know somebody. But I don't know. I guess they need help on defense, and I guess he might help. But I don't want to see Herbert take a step back. You know what I'm saying? And
cross our fingers for a good OC. Maybe Peterson. Have him hire Doug Peterson. That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
you got a guy with a Super Bowl winning head coach experience to run your offense. You can bounce ideas off of. I like that.
Yeah, at least we know Peterson will throw the ball a lot. So yeah, he'll get his attempts.
So next, Houston, their offense, great passing offense. The worst rushing offense outside of Pittsburgh. Surprisingly, they had the most yards per play in the NFL. The Texans did. Defense, pick a stat, any stat, just about, and they were 24th or worst. The biggest issue is keeping Watson on the team, Deshaun Watson, and making him happy.
Yeah, I think the only way they do that is if they hire Bieniemy, because I know Watson's been a Eric Bieniemy activist, I guess, over the past couple of weeks. So I think the only chance they have at keeping him is to hire Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who, I don't know, I guess his team, whatever, of people kind of put out some tweet about I don't know, the whole race thing, I guess, but I don't think it really has much to do with it. I mean, look, Eric Bieniemy is getting interviewed all over the place the last couple of years, so he has his opportunities, and I don't know, maybe he's just not coming across as the best candidate in those positions. So we'll see what happens. But I know Andy Reid speaks pretty highly of him, so I mean, I'm sure he'll get a job at some point. But I could see him becoming the Texas coach if they're going to keep Deshaun. Got to make him happy.
I have a quick stat correction. As soon as the words left my mouth, I knew I meant to say that Deshaun Watson had the highest yards per attempt in the NFL, not the Houston Texans as a team, but Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean,
think about his receivers he's got.
And that's probably why nobody's taking this job. I mean, they've interviewed everybody under the sun, just like the Eagles. The Eagles and the Texans are the only two teams without a coach right now. And they both have issues at quarterback. Deshaun Watson, is he going to stay? Everything they're reporting on ESPN, and they're saying he wants out and whatnot. So, I mean, I'm sure no coaches are banging the door down to take that job and to kind of start over. Bill O'Brien kind of, traded DeAndre Hopkins and whatnot. And I also read a report that they were thinking about maybe trading J.J. Watt. So, I mean, you're looking at, if the Texans do that, I mean, they're probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL next year.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
If nothing else, for what J.J. Watt brings to the locker room. And I have another stat correction. I was right. They averaged 6.4 yards per play, the Houston Texans did. Packers and Chiefs were tied for second at 6.3. So they did have the most yards per play. Is that crazy or what? The Houston Texans.
It is, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know. Could you chalk that up to them just being, being down in a lot of those games and
perhaps,
what I'm saying? Just getting those yards and teams playing soft defense on them. But I don't know. Deshaun Watson's good either way, but
4-win team leading the NFL in yards per play. That's
crazy. When you think about that, it's wild. And then, Texans are one of the only teams without a coach. Our Eagles, just real quick. I mean, they've interviewed everybody under the sun. It seems like they like Josh McDaniels. Not a huge Josh McDaniels fan. I don't think I don't think he's the worst guy for the job. I mean, I think he would do okay, but I don't know if he's the best guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He might ruffle some feathers, though. I mean, maybe Carson Wentz and some of those guys need to hear what old Josh might throw at him, because I know he doesn't. He seems like one of those guys that can be kind of arrogant, and he probably doesn't mind ruffling a few feathers. So, might be what the Eagles need.
Maybe
we'll see. I don't know. I'd like to see him take a younger guy, and I don't know. Seems like those options are dwindling. So I don't know, man. It's either McDaniels or a few of these other guys.
Well, they also either interviewed or going to interview Nick Sirianni, the offensive coordinator with Indianapolis, coaching there under Frank Reich, who came from Philly. So
Hmm.
I don't know how I feel about that one either. The Eagles need help on offense and defense, so I don't even know what minded coach I want there anyway, offense or defense. You got a quarterback controversy right when you step into gates. You're hamstrung by a huge contract with one of those
Yeah.
quarterbacks. You're in salary cap prison.
Disarray. Yeah, and it's just tough.
Gosh, it's
And from everything I'm reading, from Eagles beat writers and everything else, they're saying Jeffrey Lurie is telling teams that he prefers Carson Wentz over Jalen Hurts. So,
I don't know. I mean, at least the Eagles are at the top of one category. Most turnovers in the league. They're top three. So at least you're sitting on top of something.
Yeah. Carson Wentz is going to be the quarterback next year. I think Jeffrey Lurie knows. Can't get rid of him. Contract's too terrible, so he's going to roll him out there, I think, next year as a quarterback.
Probably. And then the last one, the Lions, they're supposedly supposed to hire Dan Campbell, coach with the Saints. Interestingly enough, he has not yet been announced that he is the head coach, at least as of 8 p.m. on Tuesday. However, they did hire Aaron Glenn for their defensive coordinator spot, also from the Saints. I would think they would have hired the head coach that's supposedly coming from that same team first, but what do I know?
Yeah, this is the Lions being the Lions, I guess, doing things a little backwards, thinking outside the box maybe. But I guess they'll get that job. I guess they'll get that deal done. I mean, I don't see how Campbell wouldn't go there. I don't think even any other team interviewed him this year. I know he's in the years past. I know we've talked about he's had a bunch of interviews, and I know he had a little stint there with the Dolphins as their interim head coach. I think he went 5-7. I think that one year in 2014. I think so.
Players love him.
Yeah, he's a good, like a Robert Saleh. He'll be a good players coach, strong personality, and still a winning. He's a former NFL player. He was a tight end in the NFL for quite some time. I think 10 years, right? So
something like that. Well, look, him and Aaron Glenn, they had their work cut out for him on the defensive side of the ball. The Lions were the worst defense in football. Most points, they gave up the most points, most yards. I mean, they're bad.
Yeah, tough job, but I don't know. Maybe he can turn it around. We'll see.
All right. I think we have enough time to hit on these QBs.
Yeah, we can run through them a little bit. We can always elaborate a little bit more on an episode or two down the road. But yeah, we can.
Here are my possible teams having or needing a QB change: Chicago, Carolina, San Francisco, New England, Jacksonville, the Jets, the Giants, the Lions with their new head coach, Atlanta, Dallas, Indianapolis, New Orleans, Washington, Las Vegas, Denver, and possibly Philadelphia, although it seems that Wentz will remain there, but who knows? Now, individually, Chicago, Trubisky and Foles stink. Agreed?
Yeah, I think they'll be gone. I don't think either one of them will stay on Chicago.
Now, Carolina, Teddy Bridgewater had 20 touchdowns, but 15 turnovers. That's not going to cut it. San Francisco, they can get out of Jimmy G's contract with almost very little dead money, I believe. And Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard are already free agents this year. So they could have a completely new quarterback room. New England, Cam Newton is a below-average NFL backup, let alone starter. Jacksonville's going to end up with Trevor Lawrence, I'm assuming. The Jets, is Darnold the answer? A lot of people talking about a possible trade with him. The Giants, Danny Pennies is not the answer. The Lions, man, I just saw today, and I completely forgot that Matt Stafford is only 32 years old. If I'm the Lions, I'm doing everything I can to keep him around. I hope they don't trade him, but I mean,
trade him to New England.
So okay, or how about this? If you're Miami, would you give up the third overall pick? Would you send Detroit your third overall pick and Tua if they gave you for their 7th round pick? So they flip-flop first round picks. Dolphins get Stafford.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. I don't know.
I mean, if
Uh,
if
I mean,
if I'm Miami,
if
I
I'm
would do it.
Miami, I would want it, but if I'm Detroit, I wouldn't take
Correct.
that
Okay.
deal.
All right. All right.
I wouldn't want to give up the third pick for Stafford. I don't think he's at this point. I don't think he's worth that. But
He's only 32. Give him
yeah,
some weapons. Devontae Parker, Preston Williams. They got decent running backs there. They got a defense. They have a very good defense. I think you're a contender right away in Miami if Stafford's your quarterback.
oh yeah. I mean, they would
He's only
definitely
32.
take him. I don't know if
You might have another 8 years.
yeah. And I know we've talked about. I mean, his stats are unreal. Like if he plays another 8 years and just
And he's tough.
and
Rarely
yeah,
misses games.
yeah, that'd be a good. Yeah, it's something to think about. But
I'm
yeah,
gonna
if you're
I'm gonna
Miami,
I'm gonna convince you by next week. You're gonna want. I'm gonna come up with a right trade, and you're gonna want Stafford for Miami.
all right, we'll see. I don't know. The third pick's tough to part
All
with.
right. A little bit north of Miami in Atlanta, Matt Ryan. He's old, still producing, but he's old. So we'll see what they decide to do there. Again, they have that early pick you were talking about, so they could use that on a young QB. Maybe Matt Ryan can help mold him into what they want. Dallas, you think they'd keep Dak Prescott? Surely. Hopefully, they won't give him the franchise tag. Indianapolis, Rivers and Jacoby Brissett are both free agents. New Orleans, probably with Breeze retiring. Washington, is it
Mhm.
our boy Taylor Heineke? Is it Alex Smith? I feel like Alex Smith to New England just looks and feels right. I mean, that's the kind of he's a he's not Tom Brady, but they have similar qualities. They don't mind a check down, take what's given to them. Don't have huge arms, so I kind of like that there. Las Vegas, if they ditch Derek Carr, it only leaves behind $2.5 million in dead money. Now, granted, if you look at the stats, Derek Carr's basically a top 12 quarterback, but I'm not sure that he's a guy to lead it to a Super Bowl. Denver, Drew Lock is awful, and Philadelphia is just the best.
Yeah, I think. I mean, all right, let's see. So I think, yeah, Eagles. I think obviously it's either going to be Wentz or Hurts.
Sure.
Falcons. I think Matt Ryan stays there. I don't think they make a move. I think Arthur Smith can
Do they
can.
take a QB early?
No, I don't think they do. Because what
Okay.
would uh, I mean, what would you do? I mean, so who are you going to take if you got obviously if Lawrence goes one, and then are the Jets going to take Fields at two?
Maybe
Uh,
Zach Wilson.
yeah, I don't know. I mean.
If you don't mind a project in a couple years, Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. You want to waste a fourth pick on a backup quarterback because I think Matt Ryan plays regardless next year. I mean, for that team. So I don't know what they'll do. I think they might trade that pick. I can see them trading that fourth pick for additional picks. Who else have we got? Dallas. I think they'll definitely re-sign Prescott. I think Prescott has some
They have
leverage.
to.
I think that he has some more leverage than he did last year. You know what I'm saying? Because he was hurt.
Even though he got hurt.
Even though he got hurt, I think he has more leverage this year because they saw what happens when he doesn't play.
That's right.
And if he did play this whole year, they would have won the NFC East easy.
Easy.
And that would have been that. So I think he'll get his whatever he wants. I think he wants, I don't know, but he'll get his money. I mean, he'll be making 35 to whatever $1,000,000 next year, and they'll give him what he wants and some big signing bonus. And I think he'll stay with Dallas. Rivers,
Well,
man,
the Colts do.
yeah, I think Rivers. I think he'll play. I don't think he's retiring. I think he'll come back. I think the Colts will run it back with Phillip Rivers. I think they'll give him another 1 year deal. The 1 year, $25 million deal that he got this year. I can see that him
Yeah.
doing that again. But man,
What
if
about
not,
Carolina?
Carolina, I can see them looking for a QB. I don't know if the Bridgewater. I don't know if Matt Rule wants to roll with Bridgewater again. You know what I'm saying? He got a big deal there in Carolina. I don't know if he wants to roll with that again. I know McCaffrey was hurt pretty much the whole year, so I can see them. Man, I don't know. I can see them moving on from him. Who
Bridgewater
else?
played well for the Saints. Just saying.
Yeah, that could be another move.
San Francisco.
San Francisco, I can see them doing something. I can see them maybe trying to trade for Deshaun Watson or somebody like that.
Oh boy, man,
Yeah.
what would you even give up? Jimmy Graham, your first round pick this year, and your first round pick next year?
Oh yeah, for Deshaun Watson, I probably would. Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah.
San Francisco, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't know
Yeah.
if Houston would take it, but boy,
You never know. Houston's done dumber things, so we'll see.
maybe one of their good defensive linemen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Throw him in there too for if you're Houston, you'd want, because especially if you trade Jimmy or JJ Watt.
But
That'd be interesting.
if Rivers does retire, I mean, I don't know. They're going to be in trouble. I mean, would you roll with signing Brissett, or they would obviously probably have to hire or sign somebody
Mm.
else? What if the Colts traded for Dak? That'd be a good place for Dak to go if the Cowboys don't want him. That'd be a good move for him, I think.
Nah, it would be a good move for Dak, I don't think, because
Yeah, I
they
guess they
don't
don't
they
really
don't
have
have
any
the
receivers.
weapons, yeah, in Indianapolis.
You got Pittman. He's pretty good. T.Y. Hilton's old. Don't really have a tight end. Yeah, they got Jonathan Taylor. I don't know. But, yeah, we'll see. I think Cowboys keep Dak. Who else? You got Cam. He's
Yeah, could you
obviously
see he's done. Could you see Alex Smith in New England?
– I could see that, yeah. I like Fitzmagic in New England.
I love there's no way he could get along with Belichick.
I don't know.
He's too
I
just like
know.
laissez-faire. Like, let's just hang out and
But, yeah,
grow beards.
but man, but I never would have thought Bill Belichick would have signed Cam Newton either, so maybe it could
True.
work. But
Very true. What about Danny Dimes? I'm sorry, Danny Pennies.
Danny Pennies, man, I don't know. I think he's going somewhere as a backup. I don't know. He's definitely not going to be a starter. I think they could. I mean, I don't know where he would land, but I don't think he'd be a
Well,
starter.
here's the problem. If you look at the free agent quarterbacks available, I only have two that I think could be starters. Prescott, who surely is going to still be in Dallas, and Philip Rivers. Other than that, I mean, I have a couple bridge quarterbacks, guys that you want to start for a couple games or maybe just 1 year because if you bring in a young guy, Brian Fitzpatrick, maybe Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, you don't want them. I mean, Cam Newton's last on my list for that. He would be ranked fourth there. And then you have backups: Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, Jacoby Brissett, Blake Bortles, Flacco, Nick Mullins, and C.J. Beathard. Even Josh Rosen's like an exclusive free agent. That poor guy.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
the free agent class is not strong.
I think Winston stays with the Saints. I think he's going to be their starter next year.
Over Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I don't know if the Taysom Hill thing worked. I mean, I know they won games, but I don't know. Is he a starting quarterback? I don't know. I mean, I don't think he is. I don't think he's a full-time starter. I think he's good in the role that he does, and I could see them keeping Jameis, and he'd be the starter. Dalton, I have Dalton down here for maybe the Bears, maybe Broncos. If they're going to roll with Drew Lock, maybe you sign Dalton to push Lock a little bit. Maybe he'll step his game up. If not, you bench Lock.
How
You
boring is that? I mean, you're not wrong. But
yeah.
gosh, even if you're a Bears fan, you're like, yes, Andy Dalton's coming to town.
Yeah,
No
you're definitely
way.
not excited, but
No
I could see
way.
the Broncos doing something like that, and then maybe just getting rid of both of them next year. You know what I'm saying? Getting rid of Locke and getting rid of if they sign Dalton or whoever, and just rolling new, I guess, next year. But I mean, who else do we got? I think Fitzmagic. I would love to see Fitzmagic in New England. I think that might work for a year or so. And who else? Cam. He's last on my list as well. Man, I don't know. Look, I can see Cam. I can see Cam going to like the Bengals and being like a backup. And then if Joe Burrow can't play the first couple games of the year, you got Cam Newton.
Maybe.
If not, you put him in there every once in a while on the goal line and let him run a couple touchdowns in or something like that. Back up to Joe Burrow.
What about Trubisky in San Francisco? You got a healthy Raheem Mostert. You probably bring back Jeff Wilson. You
Yeah.
got Debo Samuel there, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. So he's got reliable targets, more than just Allen Robinson. And with Trubisky's athleticism, those RPOs could really open things up in Shanahan's offense.
Yeah, I could see that working pretty good. I mean, that'd be a good move for Trubisky, I think. I don't know if
Yeah, correct.
the 49ers fans would be overly excited about Trubisky, but
Oh, I wouldn't either.
Gets
Just
he gets kind of a bad rap. I mean, look, I don't know. It's tough to make he's not great, but I mean, you definitely could do worse, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It depends on what the deal would be. I don't know. I mean, if you can get him for relatively cheap, I guess. I don't know what cheap would be for him. You still have to pay him probably a lot, if he's going to be your starting quarterback. I mean, I guess he has to make at least the going rate's probably 15 to 20 million, I guess, right? At this point for a starting
I mean,
quarterback. So
15 million for Trubisky.
I guess I'd take it. I mean, it wouldn't be, like you said, with those weapons, it wouldn't be terrible, but I don't think 49ers fans are going to be
No, I
too
agree.
excited about it. But
All right, buddy. That's all we got out of time here. And forgot to mention this in the beginning, but make sure you check out the Diaper Dust, www.thediaperdust.com, for all of your nasty, smelly diaper needs, on Facebook, on Instagram. Awesome, great product that I use every single day. Again, that's www.thediaperdust.com. And as always, our beats are by Dunson.
yep, check us out on Facebook. We'll post a video up on Facebook. And every other platform we got: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, what else? Spotify. Keep adding us, keep giving us those likes. It only helps get our name out there to the mass public there. So keep the Facebook chatter up. I know we've had a lot of back and forth. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on, so everybody likes to throw your 2 cents in there and let us know what you think about all these coaching changes. And even some guys are getting cut. I know, what's his name, we didn't touch on, but I think the Ravens cut RG3 and Mark Ingram, so not huge cuts, but guys that'll probably be on teams next year. I think Mark Ingram will probably find another job somewhere, but I don't know. Just give us your opinions on some of that. We'll try to get some posts out there to get the news out there, and give us your thoughts on that, and check us out, and we'll keep putting out our weekly episodes.
You got it. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Text you next week.
See ya.